Do you acknowledge that people
How
broke
many
into
were
the
charged
Capitol?
with crimes then?
How many people in the BLM riots were charged with crimes? This is a red herring.
No, it's
how
not.
many people who...
You said they're violent. How many were there that day? 100,000. How many were charged with crimes? It's the largest FBI investigation history. 1,553
It's not relevant at all.
have been charged with crimes. How can you say they were all violent?
Wait, what did he say?
1,553
It's not relevant at all.
have been charged with
1,000 were charged with crimes. That's a lot of people charged. Yeah, that seems like a lot.
crimes. How can you say they were all violent?
It's not relevant.
How can you say they were all violent?
The first people that got into the Capitol, did they break in?
Is January 6th your only reason why he's unfit?
Wait.
This guy's not going to answer it.
Break in?
Is January 6th the only reason he's unfit?
Are you
He's trying to move to a different topic. Okay.
unwilling to answer that question?
Is January 6th the only
Are you
reason?
unwilling to answer? You can say yes, you don't want to answer it, and then move on because you know the implications are terrible for you. That's fine if you want to.
The reality of the situation is...
The reality of the situation is people
What
broke
is
into
the
the
number
Capitol.
one voter
They
for
delayed.
voters? What is
They
the number?
delayed the certification.
What is the number
of
one
vote.
issue for
They
voters?
delayed the certification.
What's the number one issue for voters? Okay, so he's just trying to move to a totally different topic. People are losing faith in him. Move his topic forward. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 flags up.
Certification of the
number
vote.
one
Did they
issue for
not?
voters?
It doesn't.
The vote was certified. Was it not certified?
It was certified eventually, yeah.
Was there a delay in the certification?
Was there not- was
there
it
a
not
delay in the
certified?
certification? It
It's
was
absolutely
because the
certified.
National Guard showed up and they kicked the people out after Donald Trump was forced to tell them they were going home after watching them
is-
break in for 3 hours
what
and
is
do
the-
nothing. By your own
Let's
admission,
just have a
they
let's
said.
have a productive
No, we're
conversation.
not.
Like this guy saying, let's have a productive conversation after just stalling, trying to change the topic, not answering questions. All right.
having a productive one because you're not answering any of my questions.
Keep going. Okay.
Yeah, I asked you a very simple question. The first person that got into the Capitol who wasn't
Good job on Destiny there, grabbing focus, asking his question. This is what we're going to focus on.
allowed in, how did he get in?
They walked into the Capitol.
No, they broke
They walked in. They just walked in.
with a riot shield that he's stolen from an officer.
Okay, and that makes President Trump unfit for office.
Do you acknowledge that that happened? Are we living in the same reality right now? Do you acknowledge that
there
that
was
happened?
violence on January 6th. I acknowledge that. There was
Do you
100,000
see how I'm making a
protesters.
specific claim?
1,500.
Do you know what 1 + 1 is?
I do.
What is 1 + 1?
I think it's 2.
Okay, good. Okay,
I think.
we can answer a
But
question.
math
Okay,
is
let's get
racist. Math is racist.
first-
Oh my god. He's so defensive about answering a question.
the first person that got into
Math
the
is
Capitol building,
racist.
how did they get in?
You are arguing that Trump is
Hey, let's
unfit.
try this. Do you know what 2 + 2 is?
I
4. Who was the
think-
first person into the Capitol building? How did he get in? Why not just
Listen,
say he broke in?
Is your entire argument about January 6th yes or no?
Well, my biggest argument right now is that conservatives are delusional and they don't exist in the same reality that we
Why
do.
must-
So
Oh, I got him. Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. Ooh.
Any other
Why must you attack
Faith
75
lost in this
million
guy.
voters?
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thank you.
I don't think the majority voted against him. I don't believe that. I think we need to do a recount.
Thanks.
All right. Ah, that lady. Oh my god. Ah, this guy.
Hi, how's it going?
How are you, Destiny?
Pretty good.
See you
Oh
again.
my god, they've got everyone here.
You don't think Donald Trump is fit for office based on January 6th.
Among
However,
other things, yeah.
we have to admit that January 6th was compromised. There were patriots and there was Antifa. There were people.
It was compromised, right? Most of the people were Antifa, and a couple of them were feds. You know, it's hard to say exactly who was who, but pretty much all that. Some were Antifa feds, actually. Fed-Tifa, that's what we call them.
No.
Who were, yes, there were
there
actually.
were not.
I have video of it. Don't argue.
He's
with
got
me.
video.
Don't argue me because I actually have video of people who were on the ground. I have video of people in black bloc getting dressed up in MAGA gear.
Okay.
And
I mean, let's see it. That sounds interesting. I like this fit, you know, the red, white, and blue. That's cool.
1420. First of all, you don't have the video, but let's see how long
I
this
do
takes.
have the video,
Who
and
was the
according-
first person to break into the Capitol? Was it Antifa?
It was an Antifa person. Yes, it was.
You're wrong.
And it's actually, if you read Andy No's book about Antifa
don't need to
Unmasked,
read Andy
it
No's
actually
book.
talks about how they use the premise of a broken window to then allow other people to come in because people are a mass. They're a group. They're like
He's saying that, yeah, this guy's not liking that. He's like, bro, you're saying that Trump supporters are sheep. They see a broken window, they're going to all enter. One person illegally breaks into something, everybody else illegally enters. It's like, oh, you're not making us look good here.
herd of cows. And when there's a broken window,
Okay, not sheep, but cows. They're a herd of cows. Okay.
they don't see anything
Wake up,
wrong
cows.
with walking into a building if the windows are
Wait.
already broken. They
I thought
use this-
conservatives were the
they
party of
use-
law and order.
but they
If you were
use this-
outside somebody's house and you saw somebody breaking, do you
This
think you could
example,
walk in
this
afterwards?
example is even continued through.
That's the craziest. That's the craziest defense of January 6th. It's like, well, you know, some other people already broke in. They were Trump supporters are cows. What do cows do when they see a broken window? They jump into the building. Obviously.
BLM and the riots
We're not
of
talking
2020.
about BLM
But
right now. Although I'm glad it took us 40 seconds. It's not the
pattern
same
in
pattern.
2020 is the same that happened in January 6th, where you had innocent people moving into a facility that they didn't know that it was wrong because the doors were already open. So
They broke in through a window.
you're already.
There was
we also
broken
have
glass
other
on the
gentleman-
floor.
we also have the other
There was
gentleman
doors that were being broken into.
I mean, they were shoving. Watch the footage of this. There was like police officers being trampled, getting hit. I mean, the first person broke in, but the second person wasn't just like, oh, here's this deserted window. Let's see what's going on in here.
Yes, by people
Everybody
who were
knew
dressed
when they
up
were going
as
in there.
MAGA were not MAGA.
Oh,
you
okay.
have
So
that-
were all of the indictments and the convictions for people like Enrique Tarrio, for Stuart Rhodes, all these people that have been
so
directly
then
involved,
which
all the
one of
video
these
footage
people-
of
which one of these people was his commander? Name one of the commanders of the insurrection.
Enrique Tarrio was the CEO of the Proud Boys. Stuart Rhodes.
One of the commanders of the insurrection? That's not how an insurrection works. Well, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. It's like he read this somewhere.
was the
Is he a
CEO of
commander?
the-
Is he a commander in the
I don't know what their
insurrection?
official.
He's a commander in the insurrection. I don't know. It's so interesting to see people make these arguments that you just know there's one particular place or one particular person that it's like the sovereign citizens people who got this idea that you can say, you can't arrest me. I'm saying I'm a sovereign citizen. I'm saying the word sovereign citizen. I heard somewhere that you can say that and then you can't arrest me. It's like, what? How did you end up lost in this mindset that you thought that these magic words would have any effect? You could just say some syntax and have an effect occur.
Military
Name the
roles
lieutenant in
were.
the insurrection.
The lieutenant in the... What is he talking about?
Why do I have to name the
An insurrection is going to have people like commanders, generals.
With generals and... What the hell is he talking about? I mean, the Civil War, the Confederate Army was an army, and that was an insurrection. And so that's... It can be organized like that. It could be, but there's nothing definitional about an insurrection that there has to be, oh, well, they didn't have captains, so...
Captains, people.
No, it doesn't
yes,
need
it
to
does.
at all. But the Proud
Absolutely
Boys
it
had a
does.
leadership
Yes, it
structure. If
does,
you'd like, you can
because
go and
there
read the
is- because
indictments. You can
there
find the
was-
structure.
that
there was no
Andrew
leadership
Wilson?
structure.
Yeah. Shit, they got everyone here.
It
Okay.
can't be an insurrection if there is no leadership structure. You can't even name
2 hours of this. Oh my God. This is
one
some
of Donald
good.
Trump's commanders.
Good
in
hecking
this.
content.
And this
They're all
gentleman-
listed
this
in the
gentleman
indictments. I already
told
gave you the
that
CEO of the
that
Proud
Donald
Boys.
Trump-
They're the ones that
Donald
broke in.
Trump made 4 tweets, and those 4 tweets didn't even make it out of his sphere because they were immediately suppressed by the media.
The media suppressed his tweets? What the hell does that mean? They're just up on twitter.com. What do you mean they're suppressed by the media?
That is
Suppressed
that-
at
yes,
all.
they were
He
deleted.
sat-
They were deleted.
They were deleted. Did he delete them?
weren't. You're
They were
lying. You
deleted
can
by
go and see
Twitter.
those tweets
He
still.
brought them out on stage on his town hall and said, "Look, here are the tweets that you deleted." How do you explain that other
How
than
do you
a
explain
fascist
Donald Trump? I
system
can
who
explain.
doesn't want
I
Donald
can
Trump?
explain. Yeah, the calls for peace came.
Oh, you see this little counter in the corner. Six out of 21 people have lost faith in. Guy in the red blazer and blue pants.
3 hours.
No, they
while
didn't.
he wait. So do you
just
wait?
told you
Do
that
you
it came
acknowledge?
22
Do you?
minutes.
Yeah, I mean, should have a bingo card for this. Will any person who comes up in this 2 hours just start with a factual basis and say, okay, I assume, I'm hoping they're not going to just talk about January 6th the whole time. I'm assuming there'll be more variety than that. I don't know. But will anybody come up and be like, okay, this thing happened. It wasn't great. I think these are mitigating circumstances. Here's why I thought this is important, whatever. Maybe there's not a lot you can say about January 6th, but on something where they're going to come up and be like, yes, I own that this thing occurred. This thing wasn't great, but here's something that I think is more important, etc. Why can't they just start from a factual basis? Why are they so afraid of just reality?
acknowledge that Donald Trump sat in his in his room for 3 hours before he told people to go home, watching the
Donald
violence
Trump
unfold.
gave a speech.
You won't answer a question.
Donald Trump gave
I don't
a
care.
speech.
I don't care.
You don't care about the facts.
I don't.
then.
No. I'm the one. I'm asking a very simple question.
don't care
can't
about
answer.
facts.
I can answer your question if you answer my question. Do you acknowledge that he sat for 3 hours?
No, he didn't sit for 3 hours because he gave a speech during those 3 hours.
No, at the very
Yes, he
end,
did.
he went after the ellipse speech was done. He went back to the White House, and then he sat in a room with a Diet Coke, and he watched the violence unfold.
How do you know this?
Because it's accounted
Were you
for
there?
by like testimony.
Were you there?
How do you know what?
Oh no! Is this another dinosaurs aren't real guy?
What's happening at the border?
Were you there? Well, this is what the founding fathers clearly wanted based on the doc. Were you there? Were you there when they signed the Declaration of Independence? Were you there when they signed the Constitution? Were you there? What?
What's happening in China? Are you there? What do you mean?
Actually, this gentleman is actually.
Hold on. Are you? I'm sorry. Is your claim that the only way that you can know something is if you personally
But you're
witnessed
making
it?
these claims that he sat there. And
I'm
did
making this
nothing.
claim
When
based
I'm
on
telling you
hundreds of
that he
hours
tweeted
of
over and
deposition
over again,
testimony
tell his
by people
supporters
that have been
to
in
go
front
home
of a number of
patriotically
courts, in
peaceful.
front of the J6 committee,
Ooh.
in front of the media, in front
Okay,
of the
critical
and there's
mass.
so many different people that are willing to testify to all of this.
Oh, those are sick heels, actually. All right. Give this guy a pass.
You've been voted out by the
It's a
majority.
good
Please
fit.
return to your seat.
It's a good fit. I like his hairstyle, honestly. Oh, okay. This guy seems ready.
So, I think that
Seems familiar. Another Jubilee video.
we've been talking about January 6th. I'll be the first to say that, and I think a lot of people here would agree that there were bad actors that day.
Okay, there were bad actors. Bad actors who weren't only Antifa, bad actors who weren't only feds. Where it feels like maybe we're partway there.
Someone who comes from a family of law enforcement, family of military, so I believe in law and order.
Everyone's got these chains.
And so I do believe that there were people on that day who took things way too far, and I think
Okay.
most Republicans understand that. From people that I had talked to on the ground,
Okay, this guy's coming in pretty reasonable. He's not explicitly saying there were Trump. He's saying there were people. There were people. People means like part of our people. There were some people who took it a little too far. Trump was the commander who lied about losing the election, incited a general insurrection. That basic. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Trump could be the commander.
I think that the media blew it up into something bigger than it was. Again, I'm not saying that people who broke into the Capitol shouldn't have, but I do believe that there's a lot of people who are misled. There's evidence that's coming out with all the tapes that are coming out from January 6th, showing police officers were actually escorting people through the hallways.
Okay, I mean, that's pretty basic. I was thinking about this with like information flow, and it's just like, it's always so surprising that somebody has heard some piece of information, but then they haven't gotten it updated. It's like this. I feel like this is like a really old January 6th kind of acquittal talking point. It's like, oh, the police were leading them in. It's like, no, they were trying to divert them from like politicians who were currently in that federal building. They were trying to, it was a damage mitigation thing from this insane mob that was trying to, among other things, hang Mike Pence. They're saying, it's like, oh, they welcomed them in. But it's a fair thing to say. A lot of people are probably confused. Maybe they shouldn't be charged maximally. That's fine, but it's really irrelevant to the topic, which is about Donald Trump and his fitness for office.
So to say
That's
that
the
every
relevant
single
piece.
person who entered that building is, a criminal, I think
No, I mean, that's obviously a straw man. No one's saying that every single person who entered is... They could be technically criminal. I don't know, but it probably doesn't make sense to charge every single person who walked in there. And that's really not the claim. It's irrelevant to the claim. It's such a dodge. I don't
a
know.
lot of people
Just to be clear, that's never been my claim, that every single person entered was the building is such a boring and uninteresting, I would never waste my time making it.
Okay.
The reality was I do agree with you on your fundamental, there were a lot of people that were misled. I do agree with that. And I think that Donald Trump was behind that misleading the entire time. The people were there because he was tweeting out at them saying, come here for a historic protest. It was obvious what the protest was going to be. They were protesting the certification of the vote, and what happened.
President Trump never told anyone to break into the Capitol. President Trump has always run on a campaign of law and order and
No, he
to
hasn't.
respect
He says those words sometimes, but no, not so much.
his police. Okay, where's your evidence of that?
The whole plot on January 6th was to break the law, to have Mike Pence choose him to be the president.
At what point did President Trump tell people to break into the Capitol?
No. When he wanted
happened?
Pence to choose him to be the president.
No. But talking about breaking the law.
I mean, yeah, he was telling them your country is being taken from you. You can argue he should be president because he's smart enough not to directly indict himself with his words. He wasn't literally directly telling people to commit a crime. But if you tell a mob of people they're stealing your country from you, you're patriots, you have to fight like hell. Any reasonable person can interpret that as what it is.
That's breaking the law. The law was the Electoral Count Act. He wanted to break that law.
What you're saying is that you had that he was inciting an insurrection.
He was doing that as well, yeah.
He was
Inciting insurrection. Nice.
inciting an insurrection and telling people to basically
People they needed
break
to
in.
fight like hell, or they were going to lose their country.
Okay,
He said that they needed to
how does that have anything to do with breaking into the Capitol? Yes,
I think
again,
it was just.
there
So
are
then here,
bad
let me just
actors.
so just to be clear. So he told people to go to J6 because it would be a historic something, a historic event. When they all got there and they showed up at his speech at the Ellipse for an hour, he riles them up, telling them they're going to lose their country, that they're trying to steal it from you, that we fight like hell. Giuliani was just on there before saying trial by combat. He said all these things, and then all
Jesus
these
Christ,
people
yeah.
he said we're going to march down Pennsylvania. They all marched to the Capitol.
Is there anything wrong with protesting outside
I'm
of the
just
Capitol?
asking, like, was the fact that there was a break into the Capitol and for the first time in U.S. history the vote certification was delayed? Was that just a coincidence? Was that
Okay,
a,
so
wait, was
going
that a,
back-
I just
so-
want
okay,
to know.
so-
I just want to know that before you ask a bunch of random questions. Was it just a coincidence that a break-in happened and the vote was delayed? Was that a
Look,
coincidence?
because people broke into the Capitol, that can't be blamed on President Trump. He is always,
it was a coincidence.
President Trump
Can
has
you say that? Can you- I
President,
just need to hear you say it.
President
It was a
Trump has
coincidence.
always ran on
It was
law
a
and order
coincidence
and for
then.
people. And
So it
yes,
was a
there were
coincidence.
bad
It was a
actors.
coincidence then. It was a
But
coincidence.
moving, let's move to this.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things. So, in terms of Destiny's argument, there's actually a lot of ways to counter this from this other guy's perspective, the guy in the nice, black pullover. He could say, people got together who were Trump supporters and decided to do this thing, but it really had nothing to do with Trump directing it. Or it was the Proud Boys, it was the Oath Keepers, it was the 1%ers, 6%ers. It was all of these like extremist groups. They did these things. It wasn't a coincidence, but it also wasn't Trump. So I feel like it's a little bit weak, the line of attack that Destiny's using now. But this guy doesn't seem like a particularly strong debater or have a strong control over the facts. Which is unfortunate because he's the one person who came up so far who's been actually kind of reasonable.
It is insane.
No.
You understand this is crazy,
Let's move
right?
to
You're
certification.
nothing about you
Okay,
is law and
in
order.
2016,
You said your family is
in
law
2000,
enforcement? This is
in
coincidental?
2016, I've already said that there were bad actors. In 2016, Democrats questioned the election of President Trump. Yes,
No.
they did.
My claim has never
Sheila
been
Jackson.
All right, what is this? What is this fact check? What is Jubilee putting in here? 7 Democratic members of the House of Representatives objected to the certification of the 2016 presidential election. Reps Barbara Lee, Sheila Jackson Lee, Maxine Waters, Jamie Raskin, okay, Jim McGovern, okay. Interesting. They objected. I actually don't know exactly what that means.
Mike,
Sheila
when did Hillary Clinton
Jackson.
concede? He's not going to answer this question either.
Sheila Jackson.
Won't answer it. I'm going to ask it again when you're done.
Sheila Jackson, and two other Democrats.
Didn't go anywhere because they could not get a senator co-sign. Okay, so they made themselves heard that they were objecting. They didn't have an official way to move that process forward, and so it was just like a noted objection. It's like a minority dissenting opinion for the Supreme Court. It's noted, but it doesn't carry any kind of weight.
Democrats had
And that's an official in government saying I have an objection to this thing, and it didn't delay the certification.
spoken
And Hillary Clinton obviously conceded the next day. Hasn't been spending 4 years saying the election was stolen.
and said that they were going to question and to hopefully delay the certification in 2016 when President Trump was elected. And
When did Hillary
and we
Clinton
look-
concede?
And look,
The
and
answer
through
is
all
that
this
night,
time-
right?
and
The
through-
answer is
and-
that night.
and through
Was the
all of this
certification
time-
of the vote delayed?
Okay, so
the
then
answer is no, it
there
wasn't.
are questions.
Was there a riot at the
Okay,
Capitol?
I'm
The
from
answer is
Ari-
no,
I am
right? So
from-
none of
I
what
am
you're
from-
Silverhawk, thanks for coming on in. Dems just as bad as Republicans. I'm a 5-issue voter, so I vote Republican usually. Curious to know what those 5 issues are. Let me guess. Okay. It's got to be immigration. No new wars. Vote libertarian. Okay. Let's see if I can guess. Okay. Something about immigration. No new wars. Something about like mitigating like China reverse engineering our technology, something like that, maybe. Anti-interventionalist. 5 issues. Don't give me any answers I haven't said. You can give me hints. What do we got? Libertarian. Just lower taxes, I'm guessing. Protectionalism, not top 5. Okay. Wait, anti-intervention, but not protectionalism. Okay. I'm guessing lower taxes. Okay, just give me the last 2. It's gonna take too long for me to guess, but I'm curious to see if they're ones that are surprising to me.
From
Saying is relevant
Arizona.
here, yeah.
I am from Arizona. I was in the middle of the elections in 2022. I've been there. I saw what happened in 2020. There are serious questions about what
No,
is
there
happening.
aren't. There are
But
you think there
okay,
are
okay,
because
hold on,
Trump
hold
has
on.
brainwashed
Okay,
you
I'm
into
from
believing it.
Arizona.
I
I've
don't care
worked
if
in
you're
this.
from Arizona. I don't care that you worked in
I
it.
worked in politics.
Every single
I
court case
understand
on
how
this
is.
failed for good reason,
Okay,
right?
It's failed on standing.
No.
No, they didn't all fail. I think a lot of them, maybe half of them, went to court and they looked at the evidence and they were rejected because of that, or they failed because of
Oh,
that.
that's not true. A lot of them were tossed in evidentiary, number one. And number two, wait, do you agree that standing's
hold on.
important for a
Let me
case?
get to my point.
You have no point.
Yes,
You're fabricating
I do.
information
No,
in real
I am
time in
not. But
4K.
There is
Ooh.
serious,
Maybe 1080p if that's what they broadcast in.
Okay, pause.
Serious questions.
You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Actually, good question. Yeah, it is 1080p. The advanced bit, right? Let's go with that. I don't care about immigration. You have 3 more. One's obvious. 2 would be my authoritarian. Wait. You vote libertarian, but you have authoritarian policies. Fascinating. No, I'm very curious. I probably is like anti-abortion. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to guess. Yeah, let me know, because I might not be able to guess.